Good evening. The subject which I'm going to take is economics and management. In that subject, the topic which I'm going to deliver is a law of demand. In law of demand, we are going to see the determinants and the types of demand. Now we can see the meaning of demand. Demand means desire, but in economics, demand means desire backed by the purchasing power and willing to pay the price. Next, we can see the topic law of demand. It explains the functional relationship between price and quantity demanded. According to law of demand, when all other things remain constant, if the price rises, demand is decreased. If the price falls, demand will be increased. It means there is an inverse relationship between price and demand. Next, we can see the determinants of demand. The first determinant is price of the goods. The demand for any commodity first depends upon its price. When the price rises, demand decreases. When the price falls, demand increases. The second determinant is prices of the substitute goods. The demand for any commodity not only depends upon its price, but also the prices of its substitute goods. For example, tea and coffee. Here the demand for tea depends upon price of the coffee. The next determinant is prices of the complementary goods. The demand for a commodity also depends upon the price of complementary goods. For example, car and petrol. Here demand for petrol depends upon price of the car. Next determinants is taste and preference of the consumer. The taste and preference of the consumer can also determine that demand for a commodity. When the taste are changed, the demand for goods also changed. Next, population. When the population is increased, the demand for goods also increases. When the population decreases, demand also decreases. Climate. The climatic conditions can also influence the demand. In hot climatic conditions, cold drinks are demanded. In rainy season, umbrellas are demanded. Next, we can see the types of demand. Uh, the types of demand is divided into three types: price demand, income demand, and cross demand. The price demand explains the relationship between the price of a commodity and the demand of the commodity. There is an inverse relationship between the price and demand of a commodity. So the demand curve slopes downwards from left to right. Next, income demand. Income demand explains the functional relationship between the income of the consumers for goods. Generally, if the level of income rises, the consumer's purchase level also increases. If the level of income decreases, he purchases less quantity of goods. It means there is a functional relationship between the income of consumers and demand for goods. So the demand curve slopes downwards, up, upwards from left to right. The income demand curve is of two types. In case of superior goods, the demand curve slopes upwards from left to right. Superior goods means best quality goods. In case of inferior goods, the demand curve slopes downwards from left to right. Inferior goods means low quality goods. Next, cross demand. It shows the relationship between the price of one commodity and demand for another commodity. It means the demand for one commodity not only depend upon its price but also prices of its substitute goods and complementary goods. The cross demand curve is two types. It is upward from left to right in case of substitute goods, and its slope downwards from left to right in case of complementary goods. Substitute goods. If one good is used in the place of other good to satisfy the same want, they are called substitute goods. For example, tea and coffee, pen and pencil, etc. In case of substitute goods, there is a direct proportional relationship between price of one commodity and demand for another commodity. So the crossed demand curves in the case upward from left to right. Complementary goods. In two or more goods are used jointly to satisfy the single want, they are called complementary goods. Example: milk, sugar, tea powder, etc. are complementary. For tea, cement, bricks, iron and used as a complementary for construction work. In this case of complementary, there is no inverse relationship between price of one commodity and demand for another commodity. So curve depend in this curve down slopes downwards from left to right.